Hello to the viewer watching this, and today I want to present to you a game that I've been working on. A game called Dragon's Defense: Wrath of the Villagers. This game is a remake of the first game I have ever finished in Unity, but now I am making it in Unreal Engine. Presented by EdgeCope Corp, the quote-unquote company that's working on this game, when in reality it's just me, a solo dev. And just a bit of a disclaimer. Everything you're about to see is a work in progress. Nothing is final. So some designs might seem strange. Some might seem a little ugly. Well, that's just because the art hasn't been implemented yet. But I do plan on doing that sometime soon. For now, just appreciate the programming that I've done for this game so far. Son of a bitch! So let's jump right into the explanation of the game, as this is probably the reason why you clicked on this video in the first place. So the genre of this game is a tower defense that you can participate in. What I mean by that is you play as a dragon, represented by this cube at the bottom of the screen, and you are to defend your castle from endless waves of various types of enemies. And these enemies can alter the gameplay. So at the beginning of the game, you start out as a simple dragon, just shooting fireballs at enemies coming at your castle, nothing too complicated. But as you progress and you gain currency called souls, you are able to upgrade your dragon, or you can start placing down placeables to help defend your castle. And this is where the tower defense part comes into play. These placeables have various different functions, but overall, they are to help you defend your castle. Placeables can be divided into two categories: sentients and traps. Sentients are units that automatically shoot enemies that are close to them. Meanwhile, traps are something that when they are touched by an enemy, they hurt them, slow them down, etc., etc. Now, how you buy placeables in the first place is through something called the Soul Shop, which is the most important shop you'll be using. Not only can you buy your placeables, but you can also upgrade your dragon so you can become stronger and have an easier time fending off enemies that are trying to destroy your castle. Now, this would be a pretty boring game if it was just upgrading your stats and just placing down as many placeables as you can, trying to defend infinite waves of enemies. No, there is something much more actually once you finish a wave. Now this is where the gameplay is spiced up. You are presented a negative soul shop, and it's not something where you spend your souls on. It's actually where you select something called downgrades. You're presented with three options. These three options all have something in common. They give you a downgrade that lasts for a certain amount of waves. But if you manage to get through these amount of waves, you will be rewarded for your effort. Now you can just refuse the downgrades that are presented to you, but that would be a little boring, you know. Plus, the rewards would be worth it at the end of the day, as it's possible that you can get buffs and maybe even a permanent upgrade to one of your stats. Now, if you do accept a deal or refuse a deal from the negative soul shop, you are then presented the big soul shop, which is slightly different from the soul shop that is in the middle of the wave. The big soul shop offers more placeable options, as well as more options for your dragon's stats that you typically wouldn't see during the wave. Now, when you're dealing with the big soul shop, you are able to view the battlefield so that you can see what placeables need to be removed or what placeables need to be placed in specific spots. You will have to be strategic for where you place these placeables after all. Now, once you finish with the big soul shop and you've spent as many souls as you can move on to the next wave and start the cycle all over for as much as you can survive. Difficulty starts to ramp up after you go through more and more waves. How long can you survive? Now that's all I can really show you in this video, as this game is still a work in progress. You know, everything is still in cube form, but also there's still much more to program. Hopefully I managed to pique your interest, and if you are interested in the game, I do have a Patreon specifically for this game. My Patreon is where I post updates about how far I am with the game, what I've done so far, and these are updates that I post either weekly or bi-weekly. I don't really hide any posts behind a paywall, but if you do want to support me just because you're feeling generous, then you definitely can. The option is right there. But I would be glad if you were just interested in following along with the development of the game. Now, this Patreon isn't only for weekly and bi-weekly updates. You can also find more details on what I plan on implementing in the game, as well as the workflow that I am working with this game. And that about wraps up this video for Dragon's Defense: Wrath of the Villagers. Again, if you are interested in the game, the Patreon is in the description below. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next major update for this game.